Hi everyone, it's Annie, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make this face mask, DIY. It was a free pattern that I found on the internet, and I decided to show you how to make it. Keep watching if you want to learn how.
First, let's trace our pattern onto our pieces of fabric. I am going to be making the straps right now, so I will need to cut out 2 of these. Next, let's lay out our fabric. I'm laying out the duck canvas and the outer side of the fabric, and I'm just tracing it over with a marker. I'm using some weights here to help hold the fabric while I cut around it. If you don't have weights, you can just also use pins. Next, let's cut the inner pocket. I'm just separating the pieces so that I can organize them together. First, let's make our straps. I cut these straps. They are about 1 3/4 inch. I have a bias tape maker that I'm going to be making my strips. If you don't have a bias tape maker, you can also just fold it and iron it the way that I'm going to be showing you here. I have a small Cricut heat press that I bought for my Cricut projects, and this works great. You can also use an iron. Next, I folded this strap in half. This will be our strap. We will do the same to the other strap. Now let's take our pieces of fabric to our sewing machine. This is the outer layer of the mask. I am putting on the 2 right sides together. I'm trying to find the center of the chin piece. And I'm going to sew right in the center just to anchor it onto the fabric. I find that this method was easier for me to sew around the curved edges. If you were an expert at this, you wouldn't need to do this piece and you could just easily do it. But I'm still a beginner, so this is what I did to help me get my curved edges. Then I turned it over and I'm starting at the center where I originally started the other stitch and doing the same on this side. Please notice that I always have the needle down whenever I turn the fabric. This is so I don't lose the position. And I just carefully tug at the fabric and align the outer edges together. This takes a little bit of practice, but once you get the hang of it, you can do it. Just go nice and slow. That's our chin piece. Now I'm just going to top stitch this so that it could hold its shape flatter. I could make notches, but this fabric didn't seem to have too much problem. Just top stitch around the chin piece. By doing this step, you can see that it lays nicer on the fabric. Now let's sew the darts. You'll complete this same step onto the canvas. This layer will be inside, so it will not be seen by the outside. In this next step, I am cutting little notches so that the fabric doesn't bunch up, since this is a thicker fabric. And again, with the same as the other step, I'm just going to top stitch all around it to make it lay flatter. This part could be a little bit tricky because the fabric is a little bit thicker, so just go nice and slow. And then you just want to gently tug at it. There we have it. I think that was actually the hardest part of this project, was just sewing the chin gusset. Now this is our inside pocket. We're just sewing the darts. And we're just going to fold over the edge and sew that. Now what I'm doing is placing the right side of the canvas, and I'm putting the right side of the inner pocket on top of it. Then I'm taking the outer layer of the fabric and placing that right side to the right side of the pocket, as you can see here. Hope that makes sense. And just match up the edges and pin them. Now in this step here, you want to take the lining that's kind of hidden, tucking down there, just gently pull it up so that it matches the edges. Make sure you do this step, otherwise you might not sew through all 3 layers. Quickly inspect your project, make sure all the edges are together, and let's just stitch. This next step, we're just going to turn the mask inside out, and we're going to top stitch so that we have some nice edges. Here I have some 20 gauge wire. If you have 16 gauge, which is thicker, that's even better. But this is all I had on hand. So I'm just using the materials that I have at my disposal. I'm taking a piece of masking tape and just placing that wire close to the edge of the tape. And then what I do is I fold that up. Then I fold it again, and we create this strip. I'm going to insert that nose guard into the top of the mask. And how you know it's the top is it is the side that does not have that curved edge that we sewed earlier. You want to push that wire all the way to the top and then top stitch it into place. Next, we're just going to trim all of the excess fabric. I'm going to take my strap and find the bottom piece, put the 2 ends together, find the middle, which is right there, and then I'm going to open that up and wrap that around the edge to seal it. And pin in place. And we will do the same to the other side. Now we're going back to the sewing machine and top stitch that all the way through. When I get closer to the mask, I'm going to actually reinforce that by going over it a few times, just to make sure that it has good, just to make sure that it is good and secure. And we will do the same on the other side. Now all we have to do is just trim off any excess threads. There you can see the pocket, the outer layer, the part where we put the nose bridge is the top. That's it. We made our mask.
I wanted to mention that I made the ties long enough. So as you can see, I made the ties here around my face so it's easier, access to get off and on. But you could wear it multiple ways. You could tie it in the back, tie it in your low back, tie it either side. But this is my favorite way to wear it. I think it's great, and I love this mask. I've worn this mask a few times to the store, and I didn't have any problems with it. It's awesome. So here's how you untie it. It's pretty easy. What I like about this mask is I also made it with a inner pocket, and it's got a nose bridge, and it's adjustable, so it should fit most face types. This is an adult size. If you want to make it for children, it's got to be a little bit smaller. But this pattern is for an adult size.